Residents in Zamfara state, one of the troubled states in Nigeria with frequent attacks on the locals by bandits, have reported that not less than 20 vigilantes were killed apparently in error by the Nigerian Air Force fighter jet on Saturday when a group of vigilante members gave a chase to invading bandits who killed and abducted a lot of persons, most especially farmers at Garin Mani, Maraya and Wabi villages in Maru local government area of Zamfara state. This, an apparent military insider news media, Zagazola, in its publication titled, Airstrike in Zamfara kills over 20 bandits, but claims vigilante casualties, released on Monday, claimed that only 5 vigilante members were killed because the victims failed to follow operational guidelines of military joint operations. Specifically, the probably pro-government and military news media stated that when the vigilantes were given signal to retreat, they failed to do so. According to the Zagazola media, the Nigerian army has confirmed that over 20 bandits were neutralized during a coordinated air interdiction operation in Maraya and Wabi villages of Maru local government area of Zamfara state, while 4 members of a local vigilante group were also affected in the attack. Zagazola Makama gathered from reliable sources that the airstrike, which occurred on Saturday, May 31st, was followed by a ground exploitation mission on Saturday by troops of 1 Brigade Operation Fansan Yanma to assess the impact and conduct clearance operations in the area. The sources said that the interdiction inflicted significant losses on the terrorists, including the destruction of their motorcycles and equipment. During the exploitation on June 1st, it was confirmed that over 20 bandits were neutralized and several motorcycles destroyed, the source stated. However, the source also confirmed that some number of vigilante personnel were mistakenly caught in the strike due to a failure to comply with withdrawal orders issued ahead of the operation. Unfortunately, 5 vigilante members were killed, while 2 others sustained injuries and are currently receiving treatment in the hospital. A few others sustained minor injuries and did not require hospitalization, the source added. According to field reports, the leader of the vigilante group has accepted full responsibility for the casualties suffered by his men, stating that they disregarded earlier instructions to withdraw from the outskirts of the village ahead of the airstrike. He admitted that despite being informed of the imminent air operation, some of the vigilante youths insisted on pursuing the fleeing bandits and were still within the target area when the aircraft struck, the military source said. Zagazola learned that the interdiction was part of intensified counter-terrorism efforts by troops under Operation Hadaran Daji to degrade the operational capacity of armed groups terrorizing communities across Zamfara and neighboring states. The sources said that the military has consistently warned local security outfits and civilian volunteers to adhere strictly to operational guidelines and instructions during joint operations to prevent unintended casualties. The latest operation comes amid renewed efforts by the Nigerian armed forces to stabilize rural areas ahead of the farming season and restore civil authority in volatile communities across the northwest. Sahara reporters also reported that the Nigerian military fighter jet has mistakenly struck and killed about 20 men of a vigilante group during an operation targeting bandits in Garin Mani, a village in the Maru local government area of Zamfara state. The tragic incident occurred after armed bandits attacked the village, killing several residents and abducting over 50 others. Mostly farmers who were working on their fields. Eyewitnesses said the attackers stormed the area on motorcycles around noon, shooting indiscriminately and causing widespread panic. In response, local vigilante groups mobilized and began chasing the fleeing assailants. However, a military aircraft deployed to the scene allegedly misidentified the vigilantes as bandits and launched airstrikes on them. "We were pursuing the bandits when we saw the fighter jet approaching," one of the vigilantes told BBC Hausa. "It flew very low and started bombing us. Some of us survived by pretending we had been hit. When the jet left, we got up and fled to safety." Another resident, who spoke on condition of anonymity, confirmed the incident and expressed disappointment over the lack of communication from the military. "We understand it was an unfortunate mistake, but the military should acknowledge what happened and reach out to the victims' families," he said. He also appealed to the government to deploy additional troops to the area, as the bandits had threatened to return. This is not the first time such an incident has occurred. In January, an airstrike mistakenly killed 16 people, including vigilantes, in Tungakara, also in Zamfara. Similarly, in December last year, 10 residents of Garin Mani in Sokoto state were killed in a misdirected airstrike. As of the time of filing this report, the Nigerian military has yet to issue an official statement on the latest incident. Sahara Reporter's news report ends in quotes. Abu Bakar Lawal, a Facebook user said, "You know what happened in Zamfara? If not, then let me tell you. Bandits attacked a village in Maru and abducted 50 people. Hearing this, the vigilantes went to rescue the people who were kidnapped, but the Nigerian Air Force had another plan. They mistakenly bombed the vigilantes, resulting in the death of 20 of them, and many feared injured. Now I have a question, since this is the second time this is happening. The Nigeria Air Force cannot differentiate between bandits or vigilantes, or is there anything they are not telling us?" Another Facebook user, Godeye Jr. also said that, "I don't see this as a mistake anymore. This is the 5th time, in less than 3 years, I think. How many more mistakes will they make before they learn? And nobody will be punished too. Take cover when you see military jets because anything can happen." Reports from Mokwa community in Niger State on Monday indicated that over 153 people have been confirmed dead, with hundreds of houses destroyed as floodwaters submerged large part of the community during the heavy downpour that occurred last Wednesday and Thursday, with residents stating with video footage that the floodwaters washed away thousands of families who were still at sleep as at 5 a.m. on Wednesday when the water started submerging parts of Tifan Maza and Angu and Hausawa communities in Mokwa, and some of those who woke up immediately to escape the floodwaters, as seen in one of the video footages, ran to rooftop of a house, but they were all completely washed away as the floodwaters destroyed the building. Director General of National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Zubaida Umar had confirmed in a statement she issued on Saturday that over 151 bodies have been recovered from the scene of the floodwater disaster, adding, search and rescue efforts were still ongoing to account for missing persons. Aspired Alliance team who joined the rescue team in Mokwa in a statement on Monday said that as of Monday afternoon, the death toll has risen to 153. According to the Aspired Alliance team, as of today, Monday, June 2, 2025, 153 dead bodies have been recovered as a result of the Mokwa flood disaster, with search and recovery operations still ongoing. Aspire Alliance team are very much on site to access the situations at the separate IDP camps inaugurated. It was gathered that the relief materials from Hajia Fatima Muhammad Bago, wife of Niger State's governor, have arrived at the IDP's camp in Pege Primary School, Mokwa. Distribution to affected families will begin immediately, as instructed by the council chairman, according to local media. Zubaida Umar, Director General, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA on Saturday stated as presented verbatim below. Mokwa flooding. Situation report updates as at 10 p.m., Saturday, May 31, 2025. The National Emergency Management Agency, together with other sister emergency response bodies, is intensifying efforts to rescue and save missing persons and provide relief to disaster victims and their families. Our Rapid Response and Recovery team conducted a symbolic distribution of the relief materials to affected persons and then handed over to the local government area, SEMA, and community leader, Sarkin Hausawa, to continue the distribution. So far, 151 bodies have been recovered, 503 households and 264 houses have been affected, and 3,018 individuals displaced. We are also closely monitoring the full recovery of all the initially admitted victims at various health centers that are now treated and discharged. The 2 township roads and bridges that were damaged by the flooding have impacted vehicular movement and economic activities negatively. Working together with the state government, we are rerouting traffic to alternative roads within the town. We are providing potable water for domestic use of residents within the affected communities, including other hygiene measures, to prevent the outbreak of waterborne diseases associated with flooding disasters. In line with the directive of President Bola Tinubu, all hands are on deck to ensure that every necessary support is provided to the town during this trying time while the situation is generally getting back to normal. On Friday, she said, "Today, I led a team from our headquarters to join other emergency responders at the ongoing search and rescue operations in Pege area of Mokwa following the devastating flood that recently hit the community to oversee on-the-site assessment of the unfortunate disaster. The epicenters of the disaster have been identified as Unguan Hausawa and Tifan Maza neighborhoods in Mokwa Township. While most of the rescued victims are currently receiving medical treatment at various healthcare centers in the town, others with mild pain received immediate first aid at the sites of rescue. Tragically, no fewer than 100 lives were claimed and bodies recovered. NEMA also today delivered relief materials to the family of the disaster survivors through Comrade Yakubu Garba, the deputy governor of the state. These items include essential food and non-food supplies. Our water treatment equipment, earlier deployed, are also providing drinking water to affected communities. An ex-social media user, Abu Mokwa, on Saturday tweeted with photographs of families allegedly killed by the floodwaters and stated that, "This family too." Most families were completely washed away cause the flood submerged around 5 a.m. when some of them were still sleeping. Those who were awake and escaped to the rooftops were later washed away too because the buildings could no longer withstand the flood. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has confirmed that Ukraine on Sunday launched a large scale of multiple drones to attack and destroy cruise missiles warplane carriers stationed at the military airfields of 5 Russian cities of Murmansk, Irkutsk, Ivanovo, Ryazan and Amur regions, with Zelensky saying that it took Ukraine 1 year and 6 months to plan and execute the attacks, stating that all those who were in Russia territories that aided the successful execution of the planned attack are safe and they have all returned to Ukraine. According to Zelensky in a video press release late night on Sunday, today, a brilliant operation was carried out. The preparation took over a year and a half. What's most interesting is that the office of our operation on Russian territory was located directly next to FSB headquarters in one of their regions. In total, 117 drones were used in the operation with a corresponding number of drone operators involved. 34% of the strategic cruise missile carriers stationed at air bases were hit. We will continue this work. Maria Avdiva, a close watcher of the ongoing war in Ukraine, had stated on her verified X social media handle that this will be in textbooks. Ukraine secretly delivered FPV drones and wooden mobile cabins into Russia. The drones were hidden under the roofs of the cabins, which were later mounted on trucks. At the signal, the roofs opened remotely. Dozens of drones launched directly from the trucks, striking strategic bomber aircraft. And Russia can't produce these bombers anymore. The loss is massive. Nothing like this has ever been done before. Russia's Ministry of Defense earlier on Sunday acknowledged the strikes on airfields across 5 regions. On Telegram, the Russia Defense Ministry stated that Ukraine carried out what it said was a terrorist attack in the regions of Murmansk, Irkutsk, Ivanovo, Ryazan and Amur. The ministry says that all of the attacks were repelled. It says, as a result of the launch of FPV drones from the territory located in the immediate vicinity of airfields, several pieces of aviation equipment caught fire. The fires have now been extinguished, it adds. In some numbers of posts between Sunday and Friday, President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine had said, "I heard reports from the Minister of Defense of Ukraine, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the General Staff, our intelligence agencies, and the Security Service of Ukraine. Our defense, our active actions, and our diplomacy. We are doing everything to protect our independence, our state, and our people." I outlined the tasks for the near term and also defined our positions ahead of the meeting in Istanbul on Monday. First, a full and unconditional ceasefire. Second, the release of prisoners. Third, the return of abducted children. and in order to establish a reliable and lasting peace and ensure security, preparation of the meeting at the highest level. The key issues can only be resolved by the leaders. On Monday, our delegation will be led by Rustam Umarov. Today, we visited the book Arsenal together, now in its 13th year. And this speaks volumes about the resilience of Ukrainians and the strength of our culture. Despite the full-scale war, the publishing industry continues to grow, the world hears our country, and our people are building connections with the world. And this is truly inspiring. This year, more than 100 publishing houses are represented at the book Arsenal, along with thousands of new books. Today, we also acquired several editions for our library, including Kill the Tyrant. The History of Tyranny from Caesar to Gaddafi, by Aldo Andrea Cassi, From Father to Son, by Franco Nembrini, The Lyrics of Mariupol Bomb Shelters, by Oksana Stomina, and The Twilight of an Empire, The Russo-Ukrainian War in the Eyes of a Historian, by Sari Plokhy. We are glad that Ukraine has such events, such books, and the people who create them. We are grateful to everyone who develops publishing in Ukraine, the authors, the publishers, and the translators who open the world to Ukrainians and introduce Ukraine to the world through our books. We thank everyone who supports Ukrainian culture. It is important.
Osazuwakan Radio, bringing you the news in a more digital way.